I'm standing in the biggest human market in China, and no, it's not what you think.
Why are so many people afraid to come into China? We are not eating yet.
Why are there so many parks called People's Park in China? This place is called People's Park, but here is the thing. There are hundreds of parks across China with the exact same name. It's not named after a king, a general, or a mayor. It's just the people. You might think, wait, China's political system is more centralized. So why aren't parks named after leaders? Good question, because actually China does have a history of personal worship in politics. But in public space, the naming convention feels different. And here is where culture comes in. In Chinese tradition, there is often more focus on the collective, the society, rather than the individual. Even when one person holds great power, the language often still points to the people. So instead of Lincoln Park or Victoria Gardens, we have People's Park, 人民公园. And what happens here? People sing old songs, retirees play chess, parents help their kids find a spouse, children run around while grandparents are dancing. If you want to understand China beyond the fancy landmarks, come to a place like this. It's where everyday life unfolds, with all its noise, charm, and quiet meanings. I'm standing in the biggest human market in China, and no, it's not what you think. It's about dating, or more precisely, marriage.
From the discoveries I've made so far on China, I've noticed that there are elements of culture that are similar to Asian countries. So if this is also part of your culture as an Asian watching this video, kindly drop your country down below. How is it done? How is it perceived? How did it come about? Tell us in the comment section. I really want to learn more about your country as well, because I really want to draw these similarities as well. So that you're also covered in this conversation right here. We need to get more people married, guys. Yeah, it's very important in this generation right now. Anyway, if they want to. So let's hear from foreigners, those who have visited China for the first time. How did they view this marriage market?
I visited a marriage market in China, and this is how bizarre they are. If you visit a People's Park in one of China's big cities, there's a chance you come across these wedding markets where parents literally advertise their adult children with resumes in order to find them a match and potential spouse. Blue papers mean men, red papers mean women. I ran some of these resumes through my translator, and here's what I found. First, you need to meet strict height and weight rules. Too short, too heavy, or not fit enough, you're out. If you're a man, you'd better have at least a university degree, a good income, your own car, no bad habits, no family history of genetic illness, and your parents should always have double insurance. Miss one of these? Sorry, you're out. If you're a woman, you have to be simple, healthy, and beautiful. You tick all those boxes, but your zodiac sign clashes with theirs, then I guess you're born in the wrong year. Sorry, but you're out as well. Now you have to make your choice and contact the person, but you have no idea what he or she looks like because there's not a single picture on any of these boards. Seeing people resort to such desperate measures tells me nothing good about the societal pressures and demographic problems China is heading towards. But let me know in the comments what you think about these marriage markets and this unique way of dating, and make sure to follow me for more real travel content.
One of the most unique things you can do in China is to visit a marriage market, and here's my experience in Chongqing. I decided to pop by on a Saturday morning and I was not disappointed. It honestly looked like half of Chongqing was there with me. Anyway, the parents usually have personal details of their children written or printed on the paper. And these details often include their age, height, job, whether they have a car, a house, and so much more. So it's quite literally a dating resume. And the parents and even grandparents will sit there for hours and answer any questions that people may have about their children. And I think the craziest part is that some of the children don't even know that their parents are doing this for them. Call it an invasion of privacy, but I do think it's low-key sweet how the family members are willing to come together and put themselves out there for hours just to find someone for their kids. It was a super interesting and eye-opening experience for me. And you know what? Maybe it's time to bring marriage markets to Singapore as well.
So I find this conversation very interesting right here. So this is now the potential candidates and the parents who are looking for a spouse, for their daughter. And this is a potential candidate. Watch this. and read the subtitles kindly.
是外国哪里啊？
美国
美国啊，你还是到上海，
就是要深耕的，还是就是要
都可以啊
带了老婆回美国的，
都可以的
就是
找上海老婆，本地人很有钱的，你们本地人有房子有几套
哎呀，
了？
房子不稀奇的。
哦，房子不稀奇，
哎呦房子是3套、4套、5套不稀奇的。
希望不要带出，因为他们有房子很多，又有很多钱，
你
不想到那里去。
你
没有钱，没有他们哦。
有钱没有很难的。我们上海的优点就是安全，真的不怕的。
小姑娘虽然有5套房子，但是你要有钱，你也要有钱，我怎么能女儿嫁给你？是这个意思啊？
对啊，你有什么本事？
我讲中文了。
讲中文是个本事啊。没问题，
没问题。
努力。
我们说的实事，我们说的实事求是。上海丈母娘就是说，你没钱不要谈，
你只要有钱就可以了。
How? It's a perfect example of Shanghai culture here.
You might find this surprising, but here in China, dating has now been a family affair. In my book, Unpacking China, I explain why traditional marriages were arranged for compatibility, love was option, and even today, parents say things like, don't be blinded by love, can they afford a house? Or she is nice, but is she from a good family? In Chinese culture, love often comes after stability, not before. Parents also invest heavily, paying for education, helping with a wedding, even buying the couple's first apartment. So they expect to be involved. Of course, many young people today are pushing back. They want emotional independence, not just financial security. Some stay single, some delay marriage, some cut off the pressure entirely. But this is still happening right now in the middle of a public park. Next time someone asks, why does love in China feels like a business? Just show them this park. I'm Yuan, a Chinese scholar unpacking how this country really works, one story at a time.
I moved to China, met a Chinese man, and married him within 1 year of knowing him. I know what you all are thinking. I bet he paid your family a lot of money, aka a huge bride price, to move that fast. I'm Beers in China. Let's talk about Chinese bride price. Traditionally, it's called Tai Li, which is cash usually given from the groom's family to the brides. Nowadays, if one side doesn't agree to it, it's illegal. So how much did my husband pay? You won't believe the amount. Should I tell them or you?
0.
That's right. You can't buy my love. And our love is true love, which is why we married so fast. But okay, I'm different because I'm foreign. What about other men in Beijing? My husband is a Beijinger, so I can speak on behalf of local Beijing couples here. There are expectations put on the couples. The man's side has to prepare an apartment and the woman's side has to prepare a car. Do you know how expensive housing is in Beijing? It's sky high. But in rural China, it's a totally different story. In some villages, bride price can range from $28,000 to over $70,000. Why? Old school face culture. There being way more men than there are women, so that creates an imbalance and, quite frankly, greed. And there's even a term for men who can't pay. It's guangguer, which means bare branches. My opinion, this culture needs to disappear. Women are not property to be bought. How do you feel about it? Now back to Beijing. Did it lose all marriage culture? Absolutely not. I'm going to share with you guys my personal experience. When I married my husband, I did get a wedding hongbao, which is a red envelope full of money. Also, I participated in a tea ceremony where I started to call my in-laws mom and dad. And also, they gave my husband and I matching jewelry, beautiful pendants with our zodiac animals on them. I don't need anything because I already got the biggest gift, which is my husband.
Perfect.
What do you guys think about bride price? Let me know in the comments. And if you've actually paid bride price before, let us know in the comments too. And if you're comfortable sharing, tell us how much.
Chinese government just announced a new policy about the marriage. The government gonna pay for the new couple if they get married before 35 years old. Some of the cities, they try to pay for the new couples up to $5,000. The reason why is just because last year, China have the lowest marriage rate. Why the Chinese young generation don't want to get married? 2 reasons. First of the reason, the population of the males are the 6 times of the women's. Means lots of men gonna keep single all the time. Second reason is because it's so expensive to get married, especially as men. In China, if a couple get married, they have to pay their bride price. Working opportunity are less and less. So hard for somebody to find a decent job. Some of the friends think if the government try to pay the couple, will release their finance stress for it can help them to build a new family.
A lot of people think Chinese women are super popular internationally, while Chinese men just aren't. So they assume more Chinese women marry foreigners, right? Actually, it's the opposite. In 2024, China recorded 43,000 international marriages. 30,000 were Chinese men marrying foreign women. Only 13,000 were Chinese women marrying foreign men. And in 2025, about 90% of cross-border marriages involved Chinese husbands. So, what's going on? Part of the mismatch is media bias. We see stories of Chinese women with Western husbands, but rarely hear about the quiet, steady rise of Chinese men marrying women from Southeast Asia, especially in rural areas. Now, here is a cultural twist. Chinese men may not be seen as humorous or confident by Western standards, but they are often viewed as hardworking, family-oriented, and loyal. That may not turn heads in Europe or America, but in parts of Asia, especially where economic security matters. That's exactly what makes them attractive partners. So, this isn't just about romance, it's about perception, culture, and who gets seen and who doesn't. I'm Yuan, a Chinese scholar unpacking how this country really works, one story at a time.
When we're talking about leftover women, I guess this is only exist in Asian culture. So in China right now, they have a really normal situation is if you're over 30 years old, no matter how pretty you are, no matter how rich you are, be judged by everybody. Just like I mentioned before, if you're still single over 30 years old, no matter how happy you are, people around you will just say you're a loser, you're don't know what is the family, you will never feel happy. I think it's pretty bad. I don't think leftover women, this kind of word should be exist. My opinion is women is the same with the men, like we can do whatever we want. I don't know what's the situation going to change in the future, but I think it's so unfair right now. And I don't think only women should sacrifice for the family, to be honest. Women can pursue whatever they want, can have a happier life, and see if they find someone can be happy with them. Instead of get married with a random people, you even don't love them, that is ridiculous. What do you think about this?
So leftover women is not just for Asians. In Africa, it's also a reality. In so many countries, it's a reality where you are expected to get married in a time frame that is already designed by the society. And when you're past 30, parents lose hope. They look at you differently in the society. You're called Shanghai. You've aged. You're not married. Anyway, you're not worth it. You're considered unsuccessful. But the bride price isn't considered like buying someone. If you are to speak of buying someone in terms of bride price, then it couldn't be something even measurable. I don't know who can even afford buying someone anyway. So it's an act of, let me say, gratitude. You've raised this daughter, I'm going to continue from here. And yeah, that's how it goes. There's a lot we can speak about here. Really seeing that the marriage market in China is very unique. Just imagine your details are out there to be advertised because you need a partner. But why is that people can't just talk to each other on the road, everywhere, anyway, and make it happen? Yeah, but also I understand the push by the parent, because our generation don't want marriage anymore. It's really hard. It's hard, and also due to the complexity of life, where there are new things, new trends, things happening every day. Yeah, and there's a lot we can speak about. But that was it about this compilation. How did you find it? Do you want to visit the marriage markets one day in China? Get yourself a wealthy man, because we heard that Chinese men are really good. They're really good at giving everything to their spouse.